Welcome back to Travel Hidden Portals, where we unlock the world's most enchanting destinations that seem too magical to be real. If you're new here, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell, because we discover incredible hidden gems every week that will fuel your wanderlust. Today, we're embarking on a journey to 20 of the most breathtakingly beautiful villages on Earth. Places where fairy tales come to life and every corner looks like a postcard painted by angels. These aren't just tourist destinations. They're hidden portals to different worlds. Each one preserving centuries of culture, architecture, and natural beauty that will leave you speechless. From alpine villages, nestled between snow-capped peaks, to Mediterranean gems clinging to cliffsides. These villages represent the very best of human creativity, harmonizing with nature's masterpieces. So pack your camera and prepare your wanderlust, because we're about to discover 20 villages so beautiful, they'll redefine your travel bucket list forever. This lakeside jewel with only 778 residents receives over 1 million visitors yearly. And one look explains why. Hallstatt sits like a perfectly preserved fairy tale on the shores of Lake Hallstatt, surrounded by towering Alps that reflect like mirrors in the crystal clear water. The 16th century pastel houses seem to float on the lake's edge, creating the most photographed village scene in Austria. Salt mining has sustained this UNESCO World Heritage Site for over 4,000 years, with ancient tunnels still accessible today. The village is so picture-perfect that China built an exact replica, but nothing matches the original's magical atmosphere where swans glide past centuries-old buildings. Fun fact: Hallstatt is so small that the entire village center can be walked in 10 minutes. Yet it contains more beauty per square meter than most entire cities. Valley of 72 waterfalls. Lauterbrunnen sits in a dramatic U-shaped valley, where waterfalls cascade down 1,000-foot cliffs like nature's own cathedral. This alpine paradise inspired J.R.R. Tolkien's Rivendell. And standing here, you'll understand why he imagined elves living in such ethereal beauty. The village lies beneath the famous Staubach Falls, which plunges 974 feet in a single drop, creating mist rainbows that dance through the valley. Traditional Swiss chalets dot the valley floor like scattered wooden jewels, while cable cars transport visitors to breathtaking viewpoints. The sound of falling water creates a natural symphony that echoes through this green sanctuary between towering limestone cliffs. Fun fact: the valley is so narrow and deep that it only receives direct sunlight for a few hours each day, creating mystical lighting that changes hourly. Arctic paradise in the Lofoten Islands. Reine sits on a tiny island connected by bridges. where traditional red fishing huts called Rothenburg stand on stilts above emerald waters. This village of just 329 people is surrounded by dramatic peaks that rise directly from the sea, creating some of the world's most spectacular scenery. The midnight sun illuminates the village 24 hours a day during summer, while winter brings the northern lights dancing over snow-covered peaks. Traditional fishing culture thrives here, with cod drying racks creating geometric patterns against the stunning backdrop. The contrast between red buildings, green water, and jagged mountains creates photography that seems almost surreal. Fun fact: Reine has been called the most beautiful village in Norway by countless travel magazines. Despite being above the Arctic Circle, where temperatures rarely exceed 60 degrees Fahrenheit, even in summer. Santorini's crown jewel perched on volcanic cliffs. Oya's famous blue-domed churches and white cubic houses cascade down the caldera rim, creating the most iconic Greek island scenery. This former fishing village transforms into pure magic every evening as tourists gather to witness sunsets that paint the Aegean Sea in impossible shades of orange and gold. The village's unique architecture resulted from its location on an active volcanic crater. Houses are carved directly into the cliff face for earthquake protection. Narrow cobblestone paths wind between art galleries, boutique hotels, and traditional tavernas, all offering breathtaking views over the submerged volcanic crater. The blue domes aren't just decorative. They're painted blue to reflect heat and match the endless sky. Fun fact: Oya's sunset is so famous that people book dinner reservations months in advance just to secure the perfect viewing spot, creating nightly traffic jams of tourists. The vertical village on the Amalfi Coast. Positano cascades down steep cliffs in a cascade of pastel-colored houses that seem to tumble toward the Mediterranean Sea. This UNESCO World Heritage Site inspired countless artists and writers with its dramatic beauty, where lemon groves meet azure waters. The village has no flat streets. Every path is either stairs or steep inclines that wind between bougainvillea-covered buildings. Traditional ceramic shops, limoncello producers, and family restaurants occupy buildings that have clung to these cliffs for centuries. The main beach, accessible only by descending through the village, offers stunning views back up at the colorful houses stacked like building blocks against the sky. Fun fact: Positano's buildings are painted in bright colors because fishermen needed to identify their homes from the sea. Practicality that accidentally created one of the world's most beautiful villages. Rainbow Island in the Venetian Lagoon. Burano explodes with color as every house is painted a different bright hue, creating a living rainbow that reflects in the quiet canals. This fishing village maintains a centuries-old tradition where homeowners must ask permission from the government before repainting their house to ensure the color scheme remains harmonious. The island is famous for its handmade lace, with traditional techniques passed down through generations of women who created intricate works of art. Leaning bell towers and bridges connecting tiny islands create a maze of photogenic scenes where every turn reveals new bursts of color. The absence of cars and motors creates peaceful silence, broken only by lapping water and seagull calls. Fun fact: the bright colors weren't just for beauty. Fishermen painted their houses different colors so they could identify their homes through heavy fog while returning from sea. The Venice of the North, with no roads. Giethoorn's 180 farmhouses are connected entirely by canals, bicycle paths, and walking trails. Cars are banned from the historic village center. Traditional thatched roof farmhouses dating back to the 18th century sit on private islands connected by over 50 wooden bridges. Visitors explore by whisper boats, electric boats, bikes, or on foot through this peaceful water wonderland. The village was founded by peat diggers who created the canal system, and many houses still maintain traditional gardens and farms. The reflection of thatched roofs in mirror-like canals creates double beauty that seems almost too perfect to be real. Fun fact: Giethoorn has no roads in its old section. The postman delivers mail by boat, and even medical emergencies are handled by water ambulance. The blue pearl of Morocco hidden in the Rif Mountains. Every building in Chefchaouen's Medina is painted in stunning shades of blue, creating an otherworldly maze of azure streets and doorways. This mountain village was founded in 1471 as a fortress and later became a refuge for Jewish and Muslim exiles from Spain, who brought the tradition of blue-painted walls. The blue isn't just beautiful, it's practical, repelling mosquitoes and keeping houses cool in the mountain heat. Narrow cobblestone streets wind upward through blue-washed buildings adorned with colorful flower pots and traditional Moroccan crafts. The surrounding mountains provide a dramatic backdrop of green slopes that contrast beautifully with the blue city below. Fun fact: the exact reason for painting everything blue remains a mystery. Theories include Jewish traditions, keeping mosquitoes away, or simply creating a cooler atmosphere in the hot climate. UNESCO World Heritage Village in the Japanese Alps. Shirakawa-go preserves traditional gas shozukuri farmhouses with steep thatched roofs designed to withstand heavy snow. These 250-year-old houses were built without a single nail, using intricate wooden joints that flex with earthquakes and wind. The village sits in a mountain valley where heavy snowfall creates a winter wonderland that transforms the thatched roofs into perfect white triangles. Traditional farming methods are still practiced here, including silkworm cultivation in the house attics. The harmony between human architecture and mountain landscape represents the essence of traditional Japanese rural life, virtually unchanged for centuries. Fun fact: the steep roofs aren't just for snow. They were designed to maximize attic space for silkworm cultivation, which was the village's main source of income for centuries. Medieval fairy tale frozen in time. Rothenburg's perfectly preserved medieval walls, towers, and cobblestone streets transport visitors to the Middle Ages. This walled city escaped destruction during wars and modernization, maintaining its 16th century appearance with half-timbered houses, Gothic churches, and intact city fortifications. The famous Plönlein Corner, where two medieval streets meet at a fountain, creates one of Germany's most photographed scenes. Traditional Christmas markets, medieval festivals, and craft demonstrations bring history to life year-round. Walking the medieval wall provides panoramic views over red-tiled roofs and the surrounding Tauber Valley countryside. Fun fact: Rothenburg was so perfectly preserved that it became the inspiration for the village in Disney's Pinocchio. Fairy tale magic that's completely real. The truly capital of the world. Alberobello's unique cone-shaped houses called Trulli create a landscape unlike anywhere else on Earth. These white limestone buildings with conical roofs were built using ancient dry stone techniques without mortar. The Trulli were designed to be quickly dismantled to avoid taxes. When tax collectors approached, residents could rapidly disassemble their homes. Today, over 1,500 Trulli fill this UNESCO World Heritage Site. Many converted into shops, restaurants, and unique accommodations. The symbols painted on Trulli roofs have mystical meanings, some Christian, others pagan, creating an outdoor art gallery of ancient beliefs. Fun fact: Trulli roofs were built without mortar, so they could be quickly dismantled when tax collectors arrived. The ultimate tax evasion architecture. Medieval hilltop village beloved by artists. This fortified village on the French Riviera has attracted famous artists like Picasso, Chagall, and Matisse. With its golden stone buildings and stunning Mediterranean views. Ancient ramparts encircle narrow cobblestone streets lined with art galleries, boutiques, and sidewalk cafes. The village maintains its medieval character while showcasing world-class contemporary art in galleries and outdoor sculptures. Traditional Provençal architecture with terracotta roof tiles and stone facades creates warm golden tones that change throughout the day. The nearby Fondation Maagd houses one of Europe's most important modern art collections in a building that's itself a work of art. Fun fact: so many famous artists lived here that the local restaurant La Colombe d'Or has an art collection worth millions. Traded by artists for meals when they couldn't pay. Alsatian wine village built in concentric circles. Eguisheim's unique circular layout radiates outward from a central castle, creating a spiral of half-timbered houses that seem to dance around the village center. This medieval wine village produces some of France's finest Rieslings and Gewürztraminers from vineyards that climb surrounding hillsides. Colorful flower boxes adorn every window of the timber-framed houses painted in soft pastels. The village fountain, medieval castle ruins, and cobblestone streets create perfect Alsatian charm that feels more German than French. Traditional wine caves carved into hillsides offer tastings in atmospheric settings that date back centuries. Fun fact: Eguisheim was voted France's favorite village by TV viewers, and its circular design makes it impossible to get lost. All streets eventually lead back to the center. Hilltop Stone Village in Provence. Gordes rises like a natural extension of the rocky outcrop it sits on. With honey-colored limestone buildings cascading down the hillside. This medieval village offers panoramic views over lavender fields, olive groves, and the Luberon Valley. Traditional dry stone architecture blends seamlessly with the landscape, making the village seem like it grew from the rock itself. The village church, castle, and ancient streets create a harmonious ensemble of Provençal architecture. During lavender season, purple fields stretch to the horizon, creating some of France's most iconic countryside scenes. Traditional markets, art galleries, and restaurants maintain the village's authentic Provençal character. Fun fact: Gordes is built entirely from local limestone that changes color throughout the day, glowing gold at sunrise and sunset like a natural spotlight. Cinque Terre's colorful cliffside gem. Riomaggiore's rainbow-colored houses stack vertically up steep cliffs above the Mediterranean, creating one of Italy's most spectacular coastal villages. This UNESCO World Heritage Site maintains traditional Ligurian architecture with tall, narrow houses painted in vibrant colors that can be seen from boats far out at sea. Ancient terraced vineyards climb impossibly steep hillsides, producing the unique Siacatra dessert wine. The village has no cars. Everything arrives by train, boat, or on foot through ancient stone pathways. Traditional fishing culture thrives alongside tourism, with locals still working small boats from the tiny harbor carved into the rocky coastline. Fun fact: the houses are painted in bright colors because fishermen needed to spot their homes from the sea. But regulations now control which colors each house can use. Car-free alpine paradise beneath the Matterhorn. Zermatt sits at 5,315 feet elevation in a valley surrounded by 38 peaks over 13,000 feet, including the iconic pyramid-shaped Matterhorn. This village has been car-free since 1931. Only electric vehicles and horse-drawn carriages navigate the streets. Traditional wooden chalets mix with luxury hotels, creating a perfect blend of alpine tradition and modern comfort. The village offers year-round outdoor activities with skiing, mountaineering, and hiking opportunities that attract adventurers from around the world. Ancient traditions like the Alphorn and traditional Swiss crafts are preserved alongside cutting-edge mountain transportation systems. Fun fact: Zermatt has been completely car-free for over 90 years. Even emergency vehicles are electric, making it one of the cleanest mountain villages in the world. Alsatian fairy tale with canals. Colmar's Little Venice district features half-timbered medieval houses lining peaceful canals where flower-filled boats drift past colorful facades. This wine capital of Alsace preserves incredible architecture spanning from medieval times to Art Nouveau, creating a living museum of European styles. The Unter Linden Museum houses the famous Eguisheim altarpiece in a building that perfectly represents the village's artistic heritage. Traditional wind stubs, wine taverns, serve local specialties in buildings that have welcomed guests for centuries. The village's position between French and German cultures creates unique architecture, cuisine, and traditions that blend both influences perfectly. Fun fact: Colmar inspired the village in Disney's Beauty and the Beast. Its fairy tale architecture is so perfect, it seems almost too magical to be real. Medieval masterpiece around a horseshoe bend. Cesky Krumlov's 13th century castle overlooks a perfectly preserved medieval town center, wrapped by the Vltava River's dramatic curve. This UNESCO World Heritage Site maintains its Gothic, Renaissance, and Baroque architecture virtually unchanged since the Middle Ages. The castle complex, second largest in the Czech Republic, includes a unique revolving theater and beautiful Baroque gardens. Narrow cobblestone streets wind between colorful Renaissance buildings, housing traditional Czech restaurants, artisan shops, and cultural venues. The village's dramatic setting with the river creating a natural moat around the historic center makes it one of Europe's most photogenic medieval towns. Fun fact: the castle has a unique revolving auditorium from 1958. Actors and sets rotate while the audience stays still, creating theatrical magic in a medieval setting. Cinque Terre's wine village, clinging to cliffs. Manarola's pastel houses stack impossibly up vertical cliffs above a tiny harbor where colorful boats rest between fishing expeditions. This ancient fishing village produces some of Italy's most prestigious wines from terraced vineyards carved into steep hillsides over centuries. The famous Via dell'Amore, Path of Love, connects Manarola to Riomaggiore through tunnels carved into cliff faces. Traditional dry stone walls create agricultural terraces that are masterpieces of human ingenuity, allowing grape cultivation on nearly vertical slopes. The village glows like jewels against dark cliffs during golden hour, creating some of the Mediterranean's most breathtaking photography. Fun fact: Manarola's terraced vineyards are so steep that all work must be done by hand. Modern machinery can't navigate the ancient stone terraces that took 1,000 years to build. Arctic fishing village on stilts. Hamnøy in the Lofoten Islands consists of traditional red fishing cabins called rorbuer, built on stilts over the water, creating perfect reflections in the calm harbor. This tiny village of just 15 residents maintains traditional cod fishing methods while surrounded by some of Norway's most dramatic mountain scenery. The midnight sun provides 24-hour daylight during summer, while winter brings northern lights dancing over snow-covered peaks. Ancient fishing traditions continue with wooden boats and traditional drying racks for cod, creating geometric patterns against the stunning natural backdrop. The combination of red buildings, emerald water, and jagged peaks creates arguably the most beautiful fishing village scene in the world. Fun fact: Hamnøy has been continuously inhabited by fishermen for over 1,000 years. And the traditional roerbord can be rented by visitors wanting to experience authentic Arctic fishing village life. These 20 extraordinary villages prove that the most beautiful places on Earth are often the smallest and most authentic. Each one is a hidden portal to a different way of life, where ancient traditions thrive and natural beauty takes your breath away. Which village captured your heart and topped your travel bucket list? Let us know in the comments below. And if these hidden gems inspired your wanderlust, make sure to subscribe to Travel Hidden Portals and hit that notification bell. We discover the world's most enchanting destinations every week. Until next time, keep exploring and keep searching for those hidden portals that make travel magical. Don't forget to subscribe to Travel Hidden Portals for more incredible destinations.